Hello, everyone. I hope that you can hear me, and I hope that you had a nice time on the networking session. So, hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Shachar. I'm VP Product and Strategy here at EverAfter, and I'm here to talk about a dear topic to my heart, from CS-led journeys to customer-led journeys. And it might not sound familiar to you, so I'm going to explain and potentially try to convince you why moving to a customer-led journey approach is something that you should definitely consider. So while I can't see you, unfortunately, you can feel free to send your questions, comments on the chat, and I will try to review it every now and then. All right, so let's get started. So I have here some metrics that you might be familiar with. And typically, really, a lot of our customers and a lot of customer success executives and leaders need to focus on those metrics. So before we jump to the actual topic, I'm going to send a poll that I'd be happy if you can answer. What is your number one top priority for 2024? Is it improve retention? Is it increase upsells? Is it shorten time to value or improve ARR to CSM? Okay, I see that we have some numbers here. Increase upsells. All right, so we have a battle here between improve retention and increase upsells, which makes a lot of sense. And I see that improve retention is winning with 47%, 41%. Okay, it's still changing, but around almost half of you, around 40%, focus on improved retention. All right, so let's talk a bit about how potentially we try to look and to achieve that. So we noticed that, so by the way, before joining EverAfter, I was doing customer success operations role and revenue operations role. So me and I'm probably a lot of you as well, we tend to focus on internal processes together. So you can see here a list of internal CSM activities that we make an effort and we create the right process for it. And we do it because when something is close to us, we believe that we have a better impact on it and a better way to actually do something meaningful. And we are biased. We see our team focus on the wrong stuff, and we want them to actually work on the right stuff. However, if we're aiming to achieve our own business goals, which could be reduce churn, increase upsells, shorten time to value, increase ARR to CSM ratio, the actual road to get here would be if our customers will achieve their own outcomes, right? So when they achieve their desired outcome, they will stay, and probably they will also expand or renew and purchase additional services. The way that our customers can get to their own desired outcomes, to be honest, they need to perform actions, right? They need to do integrations in our systems, and they need to learn, and they need to do an academic course, and they need to communicate with us and go to a meeting. So there are a lot of different activities or actions that they need to do in order for them to achieve their outcomes, in order for us to achieve our business goals. And the way, in order for our customers to actually perform the right actions that they should be performing, it depends on the customer journey. And it depends how easy it is for them to understand what actions are expected from them in each part of the journey. So as you can see, I did some kind of a reverse engineering on how to get to where I aim for me as a company to achieve my business goals. And actually it starts, and we should focus on the customer journeys. So if I will clean a bit and I will take a direct connection, so you can see that by focusing on the customer journey, it contributes to their action, it contributes to their desired outcome, it helps us. And maybe we should just flip it, and this can help us a lot about the rest on the conversation. So the customer journey actually impacts our own business outcome. Therefore, it just makes sense to focus on that and see how we can optimize that as well. So this is where I'm going to introduce you the concept of from CS-led journeys to customer-led journeys. One of the ways to optimize the customer experience would actually be to move and and to migrate from what I call the customer success-led journey to a customer-led journey. And I'm going to explain in a moment. So on a CS-led journey, the CSM builds and holds the map for the customer success. So me as a CSM, I know the process. I know exactly where the customer should head it to, and I explain to the customer at every given step what they should be doing. So me as a customer, and you can see here in this illustration, so unless the CSM actually helps me and directs me to the path that I should be taking, it might be a bit overwhelming for me. I'm in front of a lot of uncertainties, and I'm relying on the CSM to guide me. So you can see here that the CS holds the process. The CS decides the timing on which direction I should take and when. And the CS, customer success, shares the action items from time to time. And a lot of us might consider it as a white glove treatment, because we will tell the customer everything that they need and we will help them. Reality is that this can create dependency, because me as a customer, I cannot be dependent and I cannot move in my own pace, which might potentially be faster. I'm losing a momentum, because if on every activity I need to wait for someone to tell me what I need to be doing, so I might lose a momentum here. And I'm relying on the CS to progress. And obviously for the CS organization, it creates a lot of manual work and inefficiency. On the other hand, on a customer-led journey, the one that holds the map is the customer. And on a customer-led journey, they can navigate their own journey. We've designed it and we've personalized it for them, right? We did a lot of work, but when the time is right, the customer can take their own path and they are empowered to take the path and the steps themselves. They have everything they need in a very clear, digestible way. So unlike the very complicated map, so I have it and every time I need to know exactly where I should be taking. So customer-led journeys offers to put the customer first and build and design the map and the journey for them in a very personalized way that will take into consideration their goals, their priorities, and their preferences on how they would like to consume information. And the customer can control the progress and path. And this, if executed correctly, can create self-sufficiency, can increase the motivation of the customer to actually perform all of the actions that will drive their desired outcome, that will drive our business outcomes. It can improve and provide a better customer experience. And if you were here in the previous conversation, so we talked about it a lot. And it can also save time for the CSM. So just to recap on this first part, so by focusing on the customer benefits a lot of it. They feel empowered, they see the value, they are more satisfied, and they feel sense of ownership. And we as an organization also have a lot of different, you as an organization and CS organization can have a lot of different benefits from it. You can have a more value-based touch points with the customer instead of technical setup conversations. You can increase the amount of accounts that each CSM can manage. It creates more efficiency and less manual work. And we see from our customers that actually perform their customer-led journey, we can see faster time to value, higher satisfaction rate. There's a positive correlation with customer health score, reduction in emails, and a higher ratio of CSM. So the outcomes could be really, really helpful. Okay, so I hope that I was able to maybe raise some of the awareness around what is a customer-led journey and what could be a potential positive impact on a well-done customer-led journey. I'm going to explain, and I'm going maybe to share a bit from our experience on what should be the key principles of it, and how you could actually motivate your customers to do that. All right, so 3 key principles of how to execute your customer-led journey. The first one, this customer-led journey must be personalized. And I know that a lot of us think that personalization is hey first name with a personalized token. It's not that. It's actually to build and design the program around the customer motivation, needs, goals, and the way that they would like to consume information and in the channels that they would like to consume the information. So at every given stage, for every given customer, provide them the right set of action items and the right set of even motivation around it. And we will cover that in a moment. The second thing, that the program must be actionable. So believe it or not, we are just one of the between 5 to 20 to 30 additional tools that your customer will use. And maybe we need to be a bit humble about that and understand that we're just one of the tools that they use. So we need to make every moment that they choose to invest in our platform count. So it means that at every given stage, the clearest action items should be addressed and should be surfaced. So the customer will know exactly what they need to do in order to achieve their desired outcome. Remember, they perform actions, they drive their desired outcomes, and then we potentially can also get our business outcomes. And the third thing, that the program must be engaging. So then it needs to be surfaced in a very digestible, easy to use, friendly, and intuitive way. So personalized, actionable, and engaging. And I'm going to share with you, and you know, the thing is that probably you have a lot of already made resources and things that you've done in this area. So I hope that I'll be able to give you some ideas on maybe things that you can adjust to make it a bit more customer-led journey and make it a bit more personalized, actionable, and engaging, with a few tactics that you can start tomorrow. And before that, I'm just going to share with you a super interesting study that we've encountered, that the average person toggles between apps roughly 1,200 times each day. It could be between different tabs, different tools, and it's a lot, right? They use between 5 to 20 different tools on average as a part of their day-to-day business hours. So it means that we are fighting on a very limited attention that they can have. So I always like to think about, what if my customer only allocated 5 minutes a day to work on my tool? How can I make those 5 minutes count? So again, it's actions that drives outcomes, that drives our outcome. So actions would be, and tasks would be, a lot of things that your customers will need to do. And for every task that we need to perform, we have a different motivation level that we start, that we have towards this task. For example, yesterday, I don't know if you noticed, iPhone 15 was announced, and I have a lot of motivation to purchase the new iPhone. So when I will go and purchase the iPhone, I already have a very high motivation level to perform this task. So I entered the store with a decent amount of motivation. In some cases, I might hit something that is called the friction mountain. So in some cases, my motivation, and depending on how high it is, will encounter some frictions. It could be that, I don't know, that the nearest Apple store is 1 hour drive for me. It could be that I checked online and all of the iPhones are out of stock. And for every motivation, it could be when I need to clean my house, or when I need to do something at work, I might encounter some frictions. And when the motivation level is high, it could actually ignore the friction, because it's higher than the friction mountain. My back button is nice. I like the dash. So, and this model was created by someone from the user experience department in HubSpot, and I really like it, because it means that the key that we need to think about is to maximize the motivation of our customers on one hand, and on the other hand, to remove the frictions that they potentially experience. So it's increasing the motivation and improving also the usability. And going back to the Apple example, I really like them, but I think that they're really, really good at both increasing the motivation and also removing the friction. So I don't know, whenever you watch like a new iPhone release, so the movie is executed so well done that makes you want to, okay, I have to have it. But also all of the frictions are being managed in a very nice way. So you can pre-order it and then you can just like pick it up in a very specific time zone. So everything that they provide is super easy. So they're focusing on those two elements. So this is maybe on a more physical device or physical tool. In our world, it's called user experience. So I'm coming from product, and I'm sure that your product team also during a lot of the activities and a lot of the exercise that I'm going to share with you in a moment. But what's good about user experience is that we are all customers and we're all consumers. So we know what is working on us, so we can actually use some of the elements and translate it in our day-to-day with our customers. All right. So what I'm going to share in the next few minutes would be some user experience elements that you can actually use and borrow in your own customer success organization to use in order to motivate your customers. And I'm sure that your product team are using those effects in your in-app experience. And maybe it's time, and Noah, EverAfter CEO, mentioned it at the beginning of this conference, that creativity is about connecting the dots. And here we can take some dots that maybe were strange to us or were not familiar for us in the customer success domain, but we can definitely use them and borrow them into your day-to-day. So I chose few. I'm not going to review all of them, but I chose five that I think that could be beneficial to share with you today. Okay, so I need to onboard myself, or maybe I will bring this question to you. Let's say that you purchase a new tool, and you need to onboard and need to perform some onboarding tasks. So given those two options, we have here option 1 to the left and option 2 to the right. Which one of you are you more likely to start given the option? And if you can write it on the chat. All right, we have here some. Okay, it's a win for option 2. Yeah. All right. So me too. I would start with option 2 as well, and there is a reason for that, and there is a psychological reason for why most people would start with 2. Yeah, and Robert mentions here 2, not even a question, would be more motivated to return to it too. Yeah. So this effect is called sequencing, and I don't know who recently opened a bank account, but whenever you do it, you have something that is called KYC, that you have a lot of questions that you need to provide to the bank about you, about your situation. And it could be like a 30, 40, 50 questions. So if you were given one form with all of the questions at once in your mobile app, probably you would open the mobile app and then, okay, I'm not going to work with this bank. And sequencing is the ability to take a complex project or a complex task plan and break it down into smaller tasks. So, hey, can you give me your first name? Hey, can you give me your last name? And before we know it, we provide 60 data points. So the first element that I'm going to share with you, and I hope that you could practice it tomorrow and the next time that you have an onboarding session with your customer, is to actually break down the process. And it could be a very complicated process. I'm not trying to simplify the process. I'm trying to simplify the experience for the customer, because we are customer-led journeys. So you can break down the process to bite-sized pieces. You can use it in order to help the users to complete the tasks. And you can also make sure that the customer is focusing only on what's relevant at this stage. Remember, 5 minutes a day, let's make it count. And the practice that we have in EverAfter is to actually take the task plan and break it down to bite-sized pieces, because we see that whenever we need to start with something that is smaller, it actually helps us. All right, the second effect, I'm going to share a study that was done in 2006. And the people that did this study wanted to check how to motivate customers to become more loyal. So they gave them like a punch card, a loyalty card in the car washing, And to one group, they gave this card that you see here on the left, that you need to have 8 washes and you will get the 9 for free. The second group got this type of card where you need to have 10 washes and then you got the 11 for free. But we already gave you, we already stamped 2 car washes. Which one of the cards do you think performed better? Option 1 from the left or option 2 from the right? All right, yeah, so most of you shared that 2, and that is actually correct. And what they checked was which group was more motivated to complete the task. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Just like we gave you points for showing up. Glad to have you here. So actually, you can see that option number 2 almost had double the success of option number 1. Option number 2, 19% of the people actually completed it versus only 10% at the first option. And what it means that we are, and this is really, really interesting. We are more likely to complete tasks when we see a progress, even if this progress is artificial. So what my recommendation would be that you can give a nice head start to a project, and head start can create like a positive feeling of accomplishment, and it can create like a sense of momentum and a sense of progress. And yes, it means that if needed, and you could actually mark tasks as completed, like fake tasks as completed, just to show that something was done in the progress. So it could be, when we use our platform, of course, so we can have the first tasks marked as completed, and you can see here like the small progress. But also, even if you just share it over email, you can highlight, hey, we have 5 items, those one you already did, we already scheduled this kickoff meeting and everything, and it creates the motivation that you would like to motivate your customers to actually perform tasks. All right, so I have here some small break. I hope that you like puppies, and here another puppy. And for those of you like me that likes cat, I also wanted to give you, I didn't want to neglect the cat lovers. So actually, if now I will ask you to do something, there are more chances that you will actually agree to perform the things that I would ask you to do. Because when we are in a good mood, we are more creative about problem solving, and we can actually work together through points of confusion. And this is really, really, I think, interesting, because making people in a good mood doesn't mean obviously it doesn't mean to give them gifts of animals. It could work, but it's also to provide an aesthetic experience, because good visual aesthetic actually helps us to improve the complete task completion time and reducing errors, and also humor. So you can use humors when appropriate. And whenever our customers reach a nice milestone, so we automatically share like a video that we recorded here in the company that celebrates them, that celebrates their success, and we get tons of positive reactions about that, because it meets the customer on the right milestone at the right time. It makes them smile, and it increases their motivation to actually move forward and perform additional tasks. So you can definitely check the emails and templates and spreadsheets that you share with the customer, and make sure first that they're visually appealing, but also it is important to find and celebrate those milestones that your customer in a pleasant way. All right, so we have not enough minutes, and I'm going to talk about the next effect. I don't know who knows. I really like the Netflix program, Nailed It. Basically, it's a program that it's a Netflix show that you give to bakers. I don't know if they are actually bakers. A very fancy cake that they need to mimic. And usually it turns out to be not really successful. But I'm sure that if you will ask the people, the person that actually made this cake, how would they rate their own work? The result, the score would be much higher than the objective one. And this is called the IKEA effect. And it means that we place a disproportionality high value on products and stuff that we help create. It might sound counterintuitive because we thought always that like white glove experience and white glove treatment, we will do everything for our customers and then it will make them successful. It doesn't have to be the case. So giving them the ability to actually to contribute or to collaborate on their success, it really tied them into it creates an emotional connection to the thing. So and also another interesting thing is that when we make a statement, it increases our chance to actually be consistent with that. So whatever we do in our onboarding processes and whatever we recommend to our customers to do with their customers is to actually put a time step that the customer will provide. Hey, dear customer, when would you like to go live? When do you think it will be ready? And we see that when the customer is the one that actually puts the date, the chances of completing this, of meeting this deadline increases. So this is another nice technique that you can try tomorrow. And again, it doesn't have to be in an EverAfter hub. Obviously, I would recommend, but it could be even over. All right. So last effect that I will share with you today, and I don't know who knows, and who tried to deactivate their Facebook account recently. This is how it looked like a few years ago, and it's not a passive aggressive effect. But when you try to leave Facebook, they showed you familiar faces of, hey, we will miss you, don't leave us. And Facebook shares that actually it reduces the number of people that activated their account, and we are more likely to follow and ask from a familiar face. So SDRs use video in their outreach, they get more responses. Whenever we have like Tom from EverAfter, Shachar from EverAfter that keep on sending us email, it creates a familiar sense with this person. And it could be even on a very like low touch mechanism. So we have a feature that is called call out. You put a familiar face, and then you could actually help the customer and guide them in their experience, and it motivates them a lot. So my recommendation would be to use videos, and even if you're using in a very virtual CSM, so you could actually build a virtual CSM and dedicate like a familiar face for that. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to share more thoughts. I hope that it was actionable, and I hope that it was interesting. If you have any questions, I don't know if we have time. If we have time, then I'm happy to answer them. So, Adi, do we have some time? All right, let's see. I think that I have some time. Okay. So first question would be, how can I drive customer accountability? So yeah, that's a very interesting question. I think that there are a lot of elements, and some of them I hope that I was able to share with you today. But I think that if you provide to begin with a very personalized experience to the customer using their own motivation and their own goals, and incorporate it in the words on how you actually phrase the tasks that you need them to do, and you provide them things that increase the motivation, like suitable case studies from familiar customers or similar use cases, it could also increase the motivation. And by actually performing them to commit, it helps them, it drives their accountability. but you cannot expect them to be accountable if you don't share it in a very actionable, engaging, and a personalized way. So I hope that I cover that as well. You're it. Thank you for your kind words. Yeah, there are a lot of different super interesting psychological elements, and I think that really this, if this topic, if I was able to raise some thoughts about it, and you would like to talk, feel free really to let me know. I have here, I think, a lot of other slides that I wasn't able to actually review together with you, but I think that the most important thing that I can share with you today is that the first focus should be on customer journey, because this has the largest correlation for you achieving your own business goals. And when you build a customer-led journey, build a program that is personalized, engaging, and actionable, and you can use a lot of those elements that we talked to remove the frictions. If you have any other questions or thoughts, you can use, I will put here on the chat like a checklist that I created, so you can use that as well. And I think that I need to introduce our next panel. So we're going to have a super interesting panel about from retention to expansion. And thank you. If you have any questions, you can find me on LinkedIn. We can talk, and we can talk about how you can make your own customer-led journey live. Thank you so much.